Good morning, folks. K-Dot 357 coming to you here, also known as Kevin Dodson. Today is Friday, the 21st of September, and so I'm continuing with my series of videos on our church safety security seminar that we do here at our store free every month. The next one is going to be the 27th of this month. We typically do it generally the last Thursday of each month, so this would be the 27th of this month that we're holding it here at our store at 1606 Westover Drive, Sanford, NC 27330, Carolina Firearms Training, Gun Sales Incorporated. It will start at 7 o'clock. It would end about 10ish. Also, U.S. Law Shield will be here, and they will be bringing about a 15-minute presentation to you as well, as far as, what do we do, after the shooting, okay? What resources are we going to need? And they'll talk to you about that. So I finished up with stats, and I don't believe in my last, so this is going to be segment 3. I've done 1 and 2. This is segment 3. So most all those stats that I got were from carlchinn.com. That's CarlChinn.com. carlchinn.com. Also, I highly recommend that your team read this book by Carl Chinn. It's called Evil Invades the Sanctuary, the Case for Security in Faith-Based Organization. In other words, he makes the case why there's a need for safety/security teams in our churches today. And he makes a great case for it. Because listen, you as a team leader or a co-leader or anybody else in the church is going to have, you're going to have objections that are going to be thrown at you from time to time. And you need to know how to handle those. And this book really helps you. If you're a fast reader, you can probably read this in some of you probably could read it one evening. It's not a very thick book, and the font's big enough to where, like I said, you could probably read this in one evening or 2 or 3. But it's a must read, I think. $12 on Amazon. It's worth $12. I think you should read it. I think the people that are, especially if you haven't started your team yet, we'd like for the pastor to read it, but at the very least, your leaders, your decision makers in the church. Because as I may have already mentioned, I don't know if I have or not, but if I may have already mentioned that, at least the pastor and your team leaders or your deacons, your elders in the church, they need to be all on board with this, because if one's on board and the other's not, you're going to have an uphill battle, vice versa. So I would recommend that book. I ordered that one on Amazon, and they're not very expensive. So I'm looking off my my iPad. I'm just following along with my PowerPoint that I'll have if you come here and look at the check out the seminar here at the store. Oh, by the way, and I'll try to mention this toward the end, I will be at Beacon Baptist Church on Trawick Road in Raleigh on the 18th of October. That seminar will start at 6:30. Basically, I am doing the seminar that I do here at the store at Beacon Baptist on Trawick Road, October the 18th, starts at 6:30. It's a huge church. It seats upwards to about 1,600 people. The pastor there has invited other churches as well in the area. So we expect it to be a right good crowd there that night. So you're more than welcome to come up there. That would run from, say, 6:30 to 9:30, so not very late. I always try to leave some room for folks to field questions and things like that to me, so I'll spend a little bit of time on that. So let's get on with this video, segment 3. So, is church security scriptural? All right. Well, I believe that it is, and I'm going to share a few scriptures with you. There's a lot in there. You can do your own research that supports protecting the flock. I believe that it's our job to make the congregation feel safe and secure, and it's our job to make the pastor feel safe and secure, so he doesn't have to look over his shoulder all the time, worrying about someone perhaps launching an assault on him or what have you, or caught from the blind side from behind. And quite frankly, I believe it's our responsibility to do that. So I do have some scripture here. You can go back and play this, and just pause it and rewind it, but I'll just throw some out at you real quick. Ephesians chapter 5, 15 through 17. Nehemiah chapter 4, 7 through 14. Luke chapter 22, 35 through 38, Romans 13:4, Luke chapter 11, verse 21, 1 Chronicles chapter 9, 21 through 24, and John 15:13. And then I got a few more here that I want to give to you. That would be Judges chapter 7, verse 21, Luke chapter 10, verse 19, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11, Acts chapter 20, verses 28 through 31, Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 6. So there's lots, and there's lots more, but I tried to choose the ones that were the least ambiguous or open to interpretation. Okay, in other words, that anybody that read this, any lay person that would read this, it will be pretty clear that God supports protecting the flock. So if once you read these scriptures, it will be clear to you as a believer that the Bible is very, very supportive of protecting the flock and the church. And I think once you agree with that, then the next logical step is to gain the knowledge and the training to start putting these teams together. So why do government target churches and schools? Why do they target churches and schools? Well, the reason they do is because churches and schools are what we call, and like I said, I've got a 15-year law enforcement background, what we call soft targets. In other words, they're not hard to defeat. They're fairly easy and accessible, and unfortunately the churches are the easiest, okay? Ever since Columbine, the shooting in Columbine, I believe back in '99, a lot of things changed quickly. The addition of SROs, school resource officers, basically they are simply deputy sheriffs or police officers, okay, that are of course armed and have powers of arrest. And thank goodness, that we've had that implemented. There are not that many schools, especially high schools and elementary schools across the country, that do not have at least one or two SROs in the schools, okay? The churches, we have a much greater challenge. Typically, you don't see uniformed officers, walking around or posted somewhere during church service. So we do have them, but we have them in the form of a safety security team. They're very discreet. They usually don't wear badges and things like that, that say security or anything like that. They're just kind of on the down low, running under the radar. Okay, so, all right, you're distracting me. I'm ADD. My wife walked by and said I need to hurry. Yeah, we're putting together our store. We're finishing up, and I got about an hour before we open. But man, I'm really proud of the way our store's looking. We got some new showcases and things like that, so it's looking great in here. So anyway, back to this. So that's why they target them, because they're soft targets. All right, schools are tough. Once school starts, it's pretty easy. It's pretty hard just to go in there, okay, to walk in. You generally got to be buzzed in. You're going to go through maybe a foyer first, and then you'll be buzzed into the main part there. But church is not quite like that. Church is a hospital for sinners, and so, we typically are going to let anybody in. But you as the church security member can at least be cognizant and aware of what it looks like. In other words, if it's 90 degrees outside and they're in a trench coat and wearing a backpack or a duffel bag, that could give rise to, hey, what's pretty hot out here? What do you wouldn't go up there and question that, but you would, as a Christian, you would challenge them in a more of a loving way than an aggressive way. If I came to you like this with my arms folded, just my body language alone, says that I'm not very open to anything you got to say. Okay, we don't do that. Obviously, we do approach them with caution. I'm not still telling you to let your guard down, but hey man, how you doing? Welcome to our church today. Is there anything that we can do for you to make your visit better here today at whatever your church name is? Just kind of let them know that that they're there and you're aware, okay? Used to, I've been in business a lot, most of my life as well, and my dad used to always tell me, as far as shoplifters go, to deter shoplifting, if you just make eye contact with someone when they come in your door, in your store, make eye contact, let them know that they're there. A lot of times, that would would deter shoplifting instead of just having a lackadaisical approach and acting like you don't even know they're there. So, so churches will continue to be soft targets. That's not going to change any. A lot of them are gun-free zones. They may have a sign on the door saying no weapons beyond this point or no firearms. Well, if you know anything at all about me, you know how I feel about those signs. I think they're absolutely worthless. The only people that are going to obey those signs are law-abiding citizens. Criminals don't obey laws, so don't expect them to obey a sign. They're not going to do it, quite frankly. That's an invitation to them to come into your church, your place of business, or what have you, if you have that sign posted, and do what they want to do. Because they know that most people like me and you, the law-abiding citizens, you're going to be unarmed. All right, and I'm for being armed, okay? I think when you go out for a gallon of milk at 10 o'clock at night, you need to make sure that you have your firearm with you. So they select targets where they're least likely to encounter any resistance. So they like it when they go to places, churches or whatever, that have a sign posted saying no firearms allowed. So I'm getting into about, I'm into 11 minutes right now. So let me just, now I tell you what, I'm going to stop right here because this will probably take a few minutes to go over this. I've got a good case in point. I'll just leave it off here with the Cinemark Theater. Do you remember what happened in July 12 at the Cinemark Theater in Aurora, Colorado? I'm just going to leave it there, and then when I pick up on segment 4, I'll take it from there. So until I see you next time, don't forget, we've got a free seminar the 27th here at our store. And also you can visit our website for other firearms training. Don't forget, we also offer a 2-day boot camp to help churches get started with teams. And basically, I do the training to tailor your needs. But we have a 2-day boot camp. You'll see that on our website, and it's usually posted around the first of the month. But the way we do that is I do that 2-day boot camp around your schedule, around your team's schedule. I know I got it set up there for the first of the month, but if you'll notice when you look at it, it says call to schedule. Okay, so we try to do it around your guys' time and convenience. All right, so I'm going to cut it off here because I need to do another video for the store. So as far as our specials and things like that for this weekend. So I'll see you next time. Stay armed, stay safe.